So some people are not aware of their own pattern of life. And then some women, I think more women than men, are not aware of their own life of awareness. That makes sense? So lucky for me, lucky, not so lucky, I have a journal since I was 10 years old. So I've been listening to this guy named Jim Rohn, and he's a motivational speaker. He was born in 1930. He died early 2000, and he taught Tony Robbins. So if you know Tony Robbins, so Jim taught Tony. There was another guy who taught Jim. Okay, makes sense? So I decided to go through my journals because he said, keep a journal, have a library of your journals. And so February 28th, 2006, I wrote Saturday, I wrote some guy a message, blah, blah, blah. I went to my friend's house, Raj. I went to Raj's house and he helped me how to better my attitude because it desperately needs to change starting now. February 28th, 2006. I have not changed my attitude. Just Jamie reading them my journal. You could see, you see my handwriting? See? Okay. And then I listened to Tony Robbins 3 years ago, and I have notes. I have notes. And the date is January 25th, 2001. And it's number 3 strategy. Don't get caught up in the how, but you've never done it before, so you get uncertain. So we struggle with something like if I tell you what to do and you're like, because you've never done it before, it's very difficult to do it. Because then you like, so I've been coaching Kristen one-on-one and she's like, but how do I do it? How many times? What time? When? How long? Should I put salt on top? How about pepper? And how many calories is it? And I'm like, dude, just go do something, because it's hard to go do something you've never done before. So then it says, if you keep repeating the story in your head, the same story over and over, you live that story. Well, this was January 25th, 2021.
So, do you know anyone in it, Catherine? Yes. Haley?
So I'm just showing you that because I wrote my life, some things just still haven't changed. That makes sense? So I do notice.
Are you doing anything this weekend?
So I do notice that if you're struggling, so this is what I learned in the last 2 weeks, because I finally had this like aha moment, because I also feel that like frog in my throat of like, because I'm coaching, right? So for me, it's like, why, like Kristen, when you were like, how many calories is broccoli, right? Like my first thought is like, why does she ask me? Why, right? Why can't she figure that out? And now I understand why. We all have this like, and when I felt her, I'm like, okay, this is my moment. Do you feel like, do you feel that? Do you feel it? Go with me. Do you feel it? Do you feel it?
I felt it.
And after like I got to text her like 80 times and she's like, I feel it. I'm like, I called her. I'm like, finally. Like that, I finally understand we all have that struggle, like that you walk through 10 steps and you're like, oh my God, I need a cookie right now. Like, why? What the fuck just happened? Why do you need a cookie right now? What just happened? you know, your husband called, or you saw something on TV, or you just forgot your habit is a cookie, whatever. So you're walking, and then bam, it's just, you know, right? And that is what I realize is so hard to overcome, right? Because every single day you wake up and you walk, and it's so easy for you to walk. But when we were teaching our kids to walk, they're like, and you're like, come on, right? Everyone has to learn the new thing that's so uncomfortable to do that no one has done before. And now that you know how to walk, you don't even think about it. You just do it. But you think about, how many calories is this, right? Did I drink water? I have to drink water, or I have to work out. I don't want to work out. So you have all these thoughts, and you've heard this before. Thoughts are things, right? Well, I never really understood that every thought is the thing. Watch. I just thought to raise my hand, but I didn't hear
Mama,
myself.
come.
I didn't hear myself.
Close the doors when you come back.
I didn't hear myself say, I'm going to raise my hand, right? I just do it. So you do not hear your thoughts that are so easy, like walking or jumping in your car, opening the garage door, leaving your house. You don't hear those thoughts, but your mind controls that too. Does that make sense? So if all thoughts are things, then whatever you're struggling with is a thought. And so I noticed my pattern that every 18 years, or even every 3 years, January, February, I am also down. And today my husband's like, it's probably because of seasons changing, right? Some people do have seasonal depression. However, because I've been doing this for so long, whether it's seasonal or not, I'm still gonna work out. I'm still gonna eat healthy sometimes and not the other times. So in the last 2 weeks, what I'm realizing is it's not weight loss that we're chasing at all. We're chasing to just feel good in our head. And that comes in many different forms. Does that make sense? So every time you feel that struggle, it has nothing to do with your body. You're just using your body, hoping that if I lose 5 pounds, I will feel better. No, you won't. Because I've lost 5 pounds, I've lost 10 pounds, I've lost 60 pounds, I've gotten abs, I've done it all, and I'm still struggling with something else. That's never going to go away. Does that make sense? So even when I did the competition and I got on stage and I won, you know, transformation category, yeah, it was really exciting and I was really happy, right? Everybody was happy for me. But if you don't win, let's say Kristen and I go play tennis and I lose, then immediately it's like, fuck, I'm a loser. Ugh. And then I live with that. I'm a loser. I suck. I can't believe I missed that easy shot. What the fuck is wrong with me? And you do all this negative conversation. Meanwhile, it's not I'm a loser. It's that she played better. That doesn't mean I should quit tennis, right? So it doesn't mean you should quit trying to do fitness because you gained a pound that's not even real. Does that make sense? So you're chasing a scale that says 182. And you're like, oh God, 182. And it's like, dude, you're first of all, you're tall. Some people are tall, right? And if you really want that scale to go down, fucking chop your arm off, dude. Like you're weighing your hair, your skin, your liver, your heart, your bones, all this stuff, right? So is it really the scale that's bothering you? Or is it that maybe, I've heard this a few times now, a husband is getting older and doesn't want to be as active as a young wife? I have a couple of clients who have older husbands. And now suddenly you're like, but wait a minute, you were so fun when we were, or when I was 30. What happened? Right? So you don't have to tell me, because no one ever tells me their truth ever. Because if you say it out loud, that's extremely uncomfortable for you, because then you have to say it out loud. And now we all know your dirty secrets. So a lot of women don't share. Does that make sense? So I coached someone yesterday. She has one of my programs and she never did it. And I said, well, let's talk about it. What's your struggle? And the first thing she says, I see your clients and I don't understand why I don't look like them. Okay. And then her mom passed away. And I kept talking. I'll read it to you, because finally I said to her, well, let me ask you, is it that you don't look like them, or is it that you don't have anyone to vent how you feel because you lost your mom and now you don't have anyone to like complain to? And eventually she's like, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. So you want to hire me and I'll be your vent, I'll be your, you'll dump all your personal feelings on me?
Your dumpster, your trash can.
Yeah, I'm basically a trash can, you know? And so I said to her, I'll read it to you because maybe you'll have the same light bulb moment as she did. So she says, I see all success people had with you. I'm not sure, because she wanted to come to Zoom. So she said, I'm not sure what Zoom will do. I saw you advertise something and I thought it'd be something new and different. And I said, okay, awesome. I said, so you probably think that if I talk to Karina on Zoom or on the phone, then I will ... however you want to feel. Is that how you feel? She goes, yes. Like right now, you're giving me hope. I haven't done anything yet. Right? I haven't done anything yet. All I said was, why do you want to do Zoom? Because you want to on me? And instantly she's like, yeah, you were giving me hope. I said, awesome. I said, when you first messaged me asking about Zoom, I felt like you were like, do you now feel a little more relaxed? Like your shoulders are down and you're like, oh, this feels good. And she's like, yeah, I feel a lot lighter. I was like, okay, let's keep talking. So now you're sharing your struggles. You want to vent about your struggles. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. So you want to pay me to vent. You hear that, right? Okay. So then I said to her, you're not struggling with fitness. I'm a fitness coach. You're not struggling with fitness. You're not even struggling with anything. You just miss venting to your mom or a friend, anyone. Does that sound accurate? She says, somewhat accurate. I still want to lose weight and fat and look leaner. I guess they go hand in hand. If my head is a little screwy, then I will make poor decisions. I get discouraged if I see the scale go in another direction. Make my story short, she was 139 and she's 5'4". 139 and 5'4" is a really healthy weight. In order for her to lose 5 pounds, she would have to barely eat, ruin her metabolism, chop off her hair, maybe a finger, and then she'll be lighter on the scale. Is that going to make her feel better? No. Because she's chasing a number. The scale dictates the number. So if your scale is old, or the batteries are dead, or your kids took a hammer to it and you didn't know anything about it, and now it's off, you're crying and beating yourself up over a broken scale because the scale said you're some number, right? So you basically just played tennis all week, and now you're going to let the scale win. But how come we're not considering you played tennis for an hour every single day? You enjoyed playing tennis. You saw your friend that you played tennis with. You played tennis way better this week than you did last week. And it just so happens the bitch was better than you. Because maybe she played 1 extra hour and got a little more practice in. So she was a little fired up. Maybe she had a call with Karina, and Karina was like, you got this. Come on, you got it. And she was like, yeah, boom. Right? Like, or just maybe your hormones decided to punch you in the face, and the sun was right in your eye when she lobbed the ball over and you couldn't see, and so you missed. Are we really going to blame the scale for the sun? Does that make sense? So this is what I've been going through in the last couple of weeks. Or like a shirt. Lululemon says I'm a size 8. Fuck. 8? God damn it. 8. You know how long I've been trying to get into an extra small? And then I go to Lululemon and I'm an 8? I've been an extra small for the last 2 years. Who the fuck is Lululemon to tell me I'm an 8? Do you see how that could be painful to some people? Or like when we got married, if you bought a wedding dress and I juiced and cleansed and did a lot of cardio and hurt my metabolism. And when I went to the bridal store, it was a 10. And I'm like, a 10? Do you know what I had to go through for a dress? Oh, that's how it comes? What do you mean that's how it comes? No one told me. Do you know what I'm saying? So when we hang up today, I just want you to recognize if there's something you haven't thought of, or if there's something you haven't shared last month that you might want to write it down, so then you are aware of yourself. But the new ebook, if you haven't downloaded yet, is gonna be extra spicy. Extra spicy. So you're gonna have to check off each item you eat. So if you had chicken, there's a box and you have to check off if you had chicken. It doesn't matter how many ounces or anything. But if you did not have chicken because you're on a boat partying, then you're gonna go to the achieved section and you're gonna type party. You do not need to say what you had, right? Because it's either chicken or I don't really care. And you shouldn't either. You should just write whatever restaurant, right? So at least you should know restaurant, baby shower, wedding, boat, whatever. So then when we come together the following week and you're like, well, I wasn't a boat. Well, you should have invited me, you know? You know what I'm saying? Because that's the only thing that's going to push you to eventually where you want to be. Because first you have to feel like you're seeing your own progress and that you're feeling good about your choices. that you're making. There was another woman who wanted to join Zoom and she was 122 and she was 5'4". And I was like, okay, well, I'm 129 and I'm 5 feet. So I'm fat, right? No, because there's nothing wrong with her either. She's gorgeous. Then I looked at her pictures and I'm like, it's not the scale, it's not the body, it's here. You know what I'm saying? So I realize now that in the 4 years that I have been coaching and in the 5 years that I went through my transformation, I now understand it wasn't the transformation of my body, it was really the transformation of my mind that eventually shaped my body, right? But I never gave up on myself because those days that you feel that struggle, just like I showed you my diary from 18 years ago, and I have a lot of notes like that, especially with guys. I would say, I called Mike, he said we were going to hang out, and we didn't. Then he said he was going to call me, and he didn't. And I called him. Why am I calling him if he said, right? And then it's like 3 days later, oh, Mike called again, and we finally hung out. And I was trying to ask him why, he doesn't call more often or whatever. And then 3 days later, it was another fucking story about Mike. Like, fuck, Karina, how did you not take a fucking hint? He wasn't that into you. And it was like happy day and then sad day, happy, sad, happy. You know what I'm saying? So I have all these notes, and yesterday and today, I finally like opened my eyes and saw what I wrote and saw my life. That when he didn't call, that was a lesson that I needed to learn. It was that struggle. And instead of like fighting through it, I didn't know at the time, but if maybe my parents were alive, who knows, right? But had I known that time was a lesson for me to learn to change my pattern, and I just continued it. Does that make sense? So if you haven't journaled, I beg you. If there's anything you're gonna learn from me, forget the food, forget the workouts, journal your life. Because that will help you see. And I also learned, don't wait 18 years to read, right? Because like I went to have chicken wings with my husband, and I told him this whole thing, and he's like, so what are you gonna do different? Make more notes and read them tomorrow. I don't know, cover my mirror in the bathroom with stickies. Like, have a camera right here that records everything I say and plays back to me in my sleep. Because like tomorrow I'm gonna hit another wall. This doesn't end, right? This doesn't end. And so this continues. So I had my moment, I had my epiphany, I learned my lesson. I also had to be rude to some people online. My husband's like, that's rude. And I'm like, it's me. Like I said, 18 years ago, I need an attitude adjustment. Or I don't, because there's nothing wrong with me. I can't change my personality, right? But I could be myself. And if someone doesn't like me, A, they're not ready to receive their own truth. And B, it's okay. We can't possibly be friends with 3 billion people, right?
No.
We have to be friends with ourselves in our heads. I have to like me. I have to stare at this camera at myself. I have to like my hair, my eyes, my mind. You know what I'm saying? And then the last thing I'll say, and then you guys can talk. Your children, I'm gonna start crying. Your children love you, no matter what the fuck makeup you have or not. They love you whether you're 120, 160, 392, they still love you. They still love you. So talk about being your authentic self. You are with your children. You yell, you curse, you wipe their ass, you take them to school, you yell, like, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your teeth. Well, I'm sure you've done it. Brush your fucking teeth, brush your fucking teeth. What the fuck is wrong with you? You can't brush your teeth. Everyone has done it. And the next day they're like, hi, mommy, I love you. And you have the nerve to stand on Friday morning with that fucking scale? The fuck was I thinking? That's what I've learned in the last 24 hours. And watching American Idol, okay? And this guy has 5 kids, an African-American family, or that's what he looked like, has 5 kids living in a hotel. And he's crying, I failed, I'm a failure, I'm this, I'm that. Getting on American Idol is my last resort. What a blessing. What the fuck are you talking about? The children are like, hey, daddy, hotel life. Yeah, I got my backpack. Let's go to school, daddy. They don't fucking know where they live. They don't know they're in a hotel. They're happy with their loving dad. He's the one that thinks he's the failed. What did he fail? His own shit that he made up in his own head. He failed to play tennis. He didn't fail. He just didn't play a good match last week. So what does that mean? Just listen, you're not on the street with your kids. You're in a hotel. What difference does that make where we live? The kids are happy. 5 kids. And when you see, like, you should watch American Idol, because I'm watching, and he's like, and I lived in a hotel too. I don't know if you know, I lived in a hotel for 6 months, and I was like, oh God, hotel, and my kids are like, let's go play in the lobby, And we were in a hotel for 6 months, and my son, they had, it was around COVID. Gavin went to go reach over for food, and there's new guests every couple of days. There's new people, and I've been there for 6 months, so I was like ready to go, right? And this guy's like, don't you teach your kids hotel manners? Fuck off. I've fucking been here for 6 months. No, not anymore. We tried hotel etiquette, but this is their house. They were living in a hotel for 6 months, right? They saw people in and out. No one in the last 6 months was rude to the kids until this one guy, right? So I wasn't going to be like, are you going to start with me now? You should have seen my kids' behavior when we first moved in the first month. They were very well behaved. It's hard, right? It's hard, but I did it. I still ate chicken. I still brought in the freaking microwave broccoli. All the food you see me eat today, the food you see on the meal plan, I still ate it. I was in 130 something. The scale went up. Whatever. What am I going to do? Right? You just keep going. So I hope this speech helps you really go deep within yourself and find what it is that you are truly wanting to accomplish, because it's not the scale. Does that make sense? Because even if you lose 10 pounds tomorrow, you're not going to see the muscle that you think you're going to see. So if you're comparing yourself to other people who may have been in it longer, or even myself, it's been 5 years. How long have you been doing it, right? How long did it take to gain the weight? How long did you work out for? So in the new ebook, there's a accountability tracker also for the workouts and the cardio. How many calories did you do on the machine? Or how long, right? You need to write 30 minutes, whatever the calories is, right? You have to keep track of that. So then next week you see yourself. So I recreated this because I want to let you see yourself like I see myself through my journals. And if you don't keep your own writing and you're like, I'm struggling, well, not my problem. Right? Because if you don't want to see yourself, what can I possibly do? Right? So there's also a section, did you lift? And again, how long did you lift for? Or did you increase a dumbbell? And then I'm going to create another page that's going to say a reflection of your week. One question is going to say, what did you learn this week? I also noticed I have a lot of clients who've gained their weight back because they did not want to do the work, and I gave them the calories to the broccoli. If I'm giving you the calories to the broccoli and you're not searching, then what did you learn? Right? How can anyone improve their mind or their life if they don't take the time to actually do the hard work and learn? Does that make sense?